Half an hour gone and we have a corner which Ismail Assar is going to put in. It's the first we've really heard of the Redmont Rangers fans here today as well. Josh Sargent in the near post, wins the header, and it's wide. I thought that was going to be a goal. It was a decent start to Season 6, our second season here in the Premier League. We did suffer a 3-1 loss to Crystal Palace in the Carabao Cup, but draws against Manchester City and Nottingham Forest did give us 2 points from our opening 2 games in the Premier League itself, leaving us in 12th place in the table. We've already completed a number of our board objectives, including both of our short-term financial objectives, both of our short-term youth development objectives, and one of our brand exposure objectives as well, each of which are either high or critical. And we have almost 15 million left in the transfer budget, thanks in no small part to the sales of shirts of our homegrown talents. Alex Petit and Jesse Cartwright, our highest selling shirts at this point in time. So we are really starting to build something special here in Redmont. Things are going to get a little bit tougher today though. 3 more games to get to in today's episode, including a home fixture against Aston Villa. We face Crystal Palace again, this time in the league, away from home at Selhurst Park. And then we're going to host Manchester United at Redmont Arena to round out the episode as well. This is how we'll line up against Aston Villa, a rotated 11 with Kenji Yamada coming into the back line. And we've got a few players who are struggling for fitness in the early part of the season here. Jesse Cartwright and Barley Mumba less than fresh heading into this fixture. Aston Villa will line up in their 4-2-4 formation. They still have Douglas Luiz, they still have Diaby, but they do have a number of new faces here that could cause us some problems. So we'll see what we can do here against Aston Villa to kick off the episode at Redmont Arena, and we do come away with another point. So 3 points from 3 games in the Premier League so far. James McAtee scoring his second goal for Redmont, Barley Mumba rescuing a point late in the game. Which brings us to deadline day here in the summer transfer window. Just one possible signing that we could make here, and that's to bring in a CDM. However, I've sent the scouts out and I'm not massively impressed by who they've sent back so far. We do have a couple of guys who we are still scouting, so we'll keep an eye on them, and it's probably going to be January where we might make a signing of this kind. I'm not anticipating selling any of our players either. Again, potentially we might make a move in January, potentially for somebody like Alex Petit, but we've just been receiving offers like this. Josh Key for Everton, Ismail Assar to Brentford, that sort of thing. And these kind of low-level transfers are not ones that I'm looking to make at this stage. So with just an hour left, that will close the books on another quiet transfer window here for Redmont, which brings us to a game against struggling Crystal Palace, just a point in the league so far. And it's not surprising when you take a look at their side. There are almost no players here that I recognise, but of course they do have Alex Lowry in that number 10 position. An ex-Redmont Rangers player, couldn't really get it going in Redmont, and it doesn't look like his career has taken many steps forward here in Crystal Palace either. This is the way that we'll line up for this one. Matthew Garbutt coming into the side, Caleb Taylor regaining his place as well. Samson Tavide coming in up front ahead of Josh Sargent. And then we are back to full strength at the back with Jesse Cartwright and Barley Mumba much fitter at this point. So we'll see if we can get our first win in the season here away from home at Selhurst Park, and we do. James McAtee, what form he is in at the beginning of the season here. Another goal from him, this time in the 89th minute, gets the victory for Redmont. Which brings us finally to our matchup against Manchester United here at Redmont Arena. We were embarrassed when we last hosted Manchester United at Redmont Arena. They beat us 4-0 early in the season and really gave us a welcome to the Premier League that we weren't hoping to receive. We did manage a 1-0 victory in the reverse fixture though at Old Trafford. Samson Tavide scoring the winner away from home early in the game. I do remember losing to Manchester United again though. Potentially we played them a third time in a cup game or something like that. So we certainly haven't had the best of luck against Manchester United in previous games, but this, I believe, is the team that's finally going to get us a win over the Red Devils. We're going out with Alexander Bobek in goal. Back five, the strongest we have available. Denzel Dumfries, Caleb Taylor, Patrick Pfeiffer, Jesse Cartwright and Barley Mumba, Christian Caceres and James McAtee, in midfield. And then Ismail Assar, Josh Sargent, and Alex Petit up front. This is what we'll be facing in terms of the Manchester United team. Onana continues in goal. A fairly roughshod back line there. And the same can be said for midfield. Garnacho and Traore on the right-hand side there. Højlund up front. But not a massive amount of household names here in the Manchester United side. They do have a few more household names on the bench. Jadon Sancho, Diogo Jota, they have Gusto and João Palhinha on the bench, but not the strongest Manchester United team by any means. So let's jump into the game here against Manchester United and hope that we can finally come away with the 3 points that we're looking for. So we are up in the commentary booth for this home game. Redmont Rangers versus Manchester United. A good start for Redmont in the Premier League. Unbeaten in the Premier League so far this season. Several draws. We do have just the one win in the Premier League so far. But we are yet to be beaten. It's going to be a tough test here against Manchester United. But we've come a long way over our 6 seasons. And I think we've come a long way since we last played Manchester United. I think we've come quite a long way just since last year. Lots of internal growth in the side. Players like Alex Petit really kicking on to become real fixtures of not only the Redmont Rangers team, but real bona fide Premier League players too. Not a good start here though. Patrick Pfeiffer making a good block. Alexander Bobek making a good save. We're going to have to get locked in early here if we're going to quell this Manchester United attack. Garnacho to put in the corner. I have noticed that Denzel Dumfries has the armband today. Jesse Cartwright is captain. But we made a couple of changes to the team over the course of the last couple of games. Denzel Dumfries at some point must have picked up the armband in Jesse Cartwright's absence. We've forgotten to give it back to him. No matter though, Denzel Dumfries is a capable captain. The most experienced player on the team so far. As Ismail Assar skips away from the Manchester United defence. Christian Caceres inside. Ismail Assar's continued the run. Christian Caceres can't quite find him. Josh Sargent a little slow to get up in support. So Christian Caceres just tried to re-find Ismail Assar there. Good pressing from Josh Sargent high up the pitch, and Alex Petit is in behind. Denzel Dumfries has found him. Josh Sargent in the box. Chests the ball towards goal. Use your head. He's so good with his head, Josh Sargent. And instead he chooses to chest the ball to Onana. Real chance there. Didn't really feel like it. Kind of felt almost anticlimactic at the end there. But that was a real chance. Josh Sargent free inside the 6-yard box. You'd bet on him to score more often than not in those situations. Big header from Jesse Cartwright. James McAtee comes away. There's a little reverse pass into Ismail Assar, who again skips away from Manchester United players. Bailey Mumba tries to loft it in behind for Ismail Assar, but he gets it all wrong. It's a quick throw from Manchester United, and they have players over on this left-hand side. Big switch of play though. We got dragged a little too far over there. Shifting as a team as you would like to see, but Manchester United just held their positions on our left-hand side. And Alexander Bobek can come out and collect that nice and easy. Just over 10 minutes gone in the game then. Fairly quiet so far. No huge chances to speak of just yet. Poor pass from Caleb Taylor. Will he ever stop giving the ball away? All he ever does, Caleb Taylor, is give the ball away when trying to pass across the back line. He's not even our worst ball-playing centre-back on paper. But he cannot find a Redmont Rangers player when he has the ball in those situations. Can you throw the ball, please? Good intervention, Alex Petit. Cleared up towards Josh Sargent by Denzel Dumfries. Sargent can't find Petit. I think that might be a Redmont free kick though, and it is. Patrick Pfeiffer wants it and he'll get it. He's just going to loft it forward into the box. There's Ismail Assar. Cleared by Manchester United, though. And Hoyland will come away with it. He'll give it straight to Barley Mumba, though. Patrick Pfeiffer. Little loose in terms of his first touch there. Jesse Cartwright. Got Denzel Dumfries over on the right-hand side here. Ismail Assar wants it. It's a decent effort from Denzel Dumfries. Didn't quite get the pass right, though, but we saw Ismail Assar with his arm raised there. And he had taken up a very good offensive position. Bit of a loose challenge by Jesse Cartwright. Referee waves play on. We'll see if that comes back for a booking. I'm not sure it will. It wasn't a terrible challenge by any means. Good interception from Denzel Dumfries. Josh Sargent again with the ball at his feet. Just can't hold it up for quite long enough for support to arrive. Manchester United again in possession. We're going to be giving up a lot of possession today, I imagine. But we are relatively comfortable out of possession with our 5 at the back formation. Oh, Jesse Cartwright has just allowed the Manchester United man to slip through there. Patrick Pfeiffer eventually clears. I think we might be dropping into our defensive game plan before too long here as well. We did the same thing against Manchester City and it really gave us a foothold in the game. So I'm hoping the same could be said here. Really good pass from Josh Sargent just to set James McAtee on his way. He does the same for Denzel Dumfries. Does well to keep the ball in play and to find Alex Petit. He's been fouled there. And we'll see if the referee brings it back. He doesn't. Somehow he thinks James McAtee being absolutely clobbered by Manchester United centre-back is an advantage. Not sure how that works, referee. I would have liked a free kick there for sure. So about 25 minutes gone now. I'm going to drop into that defensive game plan. Manchester City had a really bright start against us. Manchester United have not had quite as bright a start. But that change did really give us a foothold in the game and did allow us to go on and get the draw. Bit of space there for Manchester United, but we do manage to force them into a shot, which was just a half chance, really. And Alexander Bobek was able to comfortably save. James McAtee in the box, takes a strike with his left foot, forces Onana into his first save of the game. Half an hour gone and we have a corner which Ismail Assar is going to put in. It's the first we've really heard of the Redmont Rangers fans here today as well. Josh Sargent in the near post, wins the header, and it's wide. I thought that was going to be a goal. Again, you would bet on Josh Sargent in those situations so often, even with 2 Manchester United players and Denzel Dumfries in the area. He manages to turn the header towards goal. Onana was beaten. There was no way he was saving that. But the header ends up going just past the post. Really good effort. And it's going to be pressure high up the pitch here, not just from Josh Sargent, but from Ismail Assar as well. Almost forced the Manchester City man into a mistake. Here's Ismail Assar. The ball won back by Christian Caceres. Barley Mumba's up in support. And we're just going to try and find space to cross and put the ball in towards Josh Sargent again. It's going to be another corner. Blocked by Manchester United. And again, Ismail Assar will take. And again, we will look for Josh Sargent. Again, we find him. Again, he wins the header. This time over the bar. Josh Sargent's so dominant in the air. And he's shown it again there. I think Onana did have that one covered this time. But I think that's going to be where we're going to be at our most dangerous today. Trying to find Josh Sargent from set pieces. I don't think we're going to be able to create too many clear-cut chances from open play today. Bobek finds Denzel Dumfries. James McAtee's in a good bit of space. Alex Petit, I think, was offside as James McAtee tried to find him. Caleb Taylor to Patrick Pfeiffer. Manchester United pressing high up the pitch here. Jesse Cartwright just lays it off to Barley Mumba. And again, we have enjoyed more possession since we've dropped back into our defensive game plan. It's exactly what happened against Manchester City. Just gave us the opportunity to spend a little bit more time on the ball. And just to settle the game down just a little bit, Christian Caceres. Bali Mumba could do with making a run outside. That's the thing with the defensive game plan. Our fullbacks aren't quite as eager to get forward. They do tend to sit in their shape a little bit more, so situations like that, Christian Caceres is not going to have Bali Mumba up there for support. And he's going to have to hold on to the ball a little bit longer before support does arrive. Manchester United working it inside here. Working it nicely as well. James McAtee having to drop back and do his defensive duties. He's done that relatively well so far this season. It's obviously not what we brought him in for, but he's done an admirable job defensively. And Ismail Assar could be in behind here, and he is. Josh Sargent's in space. Ismail Assar couldn't quite find him with the cross. Josh Sargent had just dropped off that centre-back from Manchester United into a little bit of space, and is that a foul? Is that a foul after the clearance? Very much looked like it. It wasn't offside. The referee doesn't go over and talk to the player like we saw there if he's just offside. Really well worked from Redmont Rangers down that left-hand side. Bali Mumba lifting the ball up to Ismail Assar. Just laid it in to Christian Caceres. First time, one touch. And it was a perfectly placed pass. But it's space on the right-hand side here now. Josh Sargent in a good position. He's just backing off the Manchester United defender there, though. Or backing into the defender, rather. We wanted him to step forward to collect the pass instead. And Alex Petit dropping into defence. He slides in there trying to stop the cross. The cross never comes. Denzel Dumfries does well to get a foot in. Manchester United persist, though, with the attack, and they work it inside. Caleb Taylor just ushering Manchester United across the penalty area. Bobek makes another good save. Again, it was just a half chance there, really, for Manchester United. Forced them into a low percentage shot, really. That was a little more high percentage if they could have won the header. And fortunately, we bailed out with a free kick in our own penalty area here. I think that means we have Leicester City next. I think that was the team we saw flash up extremely momentarily there on the graphic. I didn't skip anything. It just didn't really seem eager to show us that for too long. And so Dumfries wins the header. We'll have advantage here, ref. How is that not our advantage? How is that not our advantage? I think he's pulled it back for a free kick to... It is our free kick. How is that not an advantage? The referee gave us an advantage earlier when James McAtee was trying to win the ball in the air. Yeah, Alex Petit running in behind with no Manchester United defenders to stop him is not an advantage. How does that work? How does that work? That arguably could have been one of our better opportunities of the game there, and the referee doesn't allow us to have it. So 0-0 at half-time. No real clear-cut chances for either team. Alexander Bobek's made a couple of good saves. And Josh Sargent did have a half chance there, but 0-0 at half-time and a bit of a quiet one here at Redmont. Thanks for checking out this episode of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory Career Mode. If you're enjoying the video, please take a second to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. There's going to be plenty more realistic content like this to come in 2024, and every little bit of engagement helps to grow the channel and bring these videos to more and more viewers. Drop a comment too. Let me know what you thought of today's game, who our man of the match was, or really just any feedback you have about the series. I always love to hear from you guys, and I've got some great ideas about how to get you more involved going forward. But that's enough rambling from me. Let's get back to the action. So Manchester United to kick off for the second half here at Redmont Arena. I would be happy enough with a draw from the game here. However, I would very much like a win. We've had such a good start to the season, but we've only managed to win one game so far. Just avoiding defeat in the Premier League to some extent is an achievement. I thought I heard the net ripple. I heard the net ripple and I thought that was a goal for Rasmus Højlund. Potentially Bobek had that covered. I'm not so sure though. close to conceding right at the beginning of the second half here. So for that very reason, case in point, avoiding defeat in the Premier League is an achievement in itself because the teams here are so strong. But if we are going to kick on and develop as a club, we do need to start winning Premier League games as well as drawing them. So I would especially love to get the win here. I feel like Manchester United have been a bit of a bogey team for us. It's tough to really call them a bogey team just because I feel like a bogey team is a team that you can beat, or you should, in theory, on paper, be able to beat. But they always seem to get the better of you. Whereas Manchester United, it's not really a surprise if you lose to a club like Manchester United. You know, they're a top 6 side. They're not really a team that on paper we should be expecting to beat, and we just can't seem to get it done. But I do feel like they're becoming a bit of a bogey team for us in the last couple of seasons. Christian Caceres gives the ball away. It's been a poor start to the second half here. We're giving the ball away. We're not closing down attackers, allowing them to get shots off, allowing them to drive at our back line like Garnacho here. And we do concede. It is Rasmus Højlund. Really poor start to the second half. And winning this game has just got a whole lot more difficult. Just allowed Garnacho there to drive at our back line. Pulled it across to Rasmus Højlund. And he finished with ease past Alexander Bobek. There wasn't too much the goalkeeper could do about it, really. Højlund's in space in the 18-yard box. And it's a first-time strike across the goalkeeper. That's more the fault of his defence than it is of him, I would say. So 1-0 down, we're going to step back up into our balanced game plan. And if it remains 1-0 to Manchester United for too much longer, we will be going to our attacking game plan. I am very much going to be pushing for results. 1-0 loss against Manchester United is respectable. But I would much rather lose 2 or 3-0 whilst trying to get a result from the game than just go down 1-0. There's very little difference between 1-0 and 3-0. Goal difference, of course, is the only difference. James McAtee in the box. Can Josh Sargent find him? Yes, he can. James McAtee with the header straight at Onana. That should have been the equaliser. That should have been the equaliser. James McAtee has been in free-flowing goal-scoring form so far for Redmont Rangers. And that should have been another one to add to the tally there. We do have Holly Champion down on the sideline, who does have something to say about James McAtee, so...
Yes, James McAtee has had an excellent start to his career at Redmont Rangers. He cut a frustrated figure at Manchester City, rarely able to break into the first team, and he says he's just happy to be playing football again. McAtee told me he'd fallen out of love with the game for a period, and even contemplated hanging up his boots, but he's found his feet again here at Redmont, and I'm sure the Rangers fans are glad he had a change of heart.
And Manchester United score. Thanks to Holly for that update about James McAtee, but as soon as you rejoin us up here in the booth, we're announcing a second goal for Manchester United. A really good strike. Hjulmand, I guess, is the name of the player that doubles the lead. Again, poor defender from Redmont. Couldn't deal with the Manchester United attackers there. Allowed them to play it around our box. And Manchester United have doubled their lead. We will be stepping up into our attacking game plan. As I said, there's very little difference between 1-0 and 3-0. There's very little difference between 2-0 and 4-0. So we will press on and try and get a goal back. Has to start with the 1 goal, obviously. We're aiming for 2 goals. We have to get the first before we can get the second. Jesse Cartwright beaten. Don't find myself saying that too often, but he's beaten all ends up there. Patrick Pfeiffer couldn't quite get a foot on it either. And we're going to make a couple of changes here. It's going to be Alex Petit and Christian Caceres off. It's going to be Max Weber and Brendan Clark on. We don't have a massive amount of depth on our bench. We very much have our strongest 11 out. Brendan Clark in on the right-hand side here. Josh Sargent on the edge of the box. Can he find him? He can't quite find him. Laid the pass out in front for Josh Sargent to strike first time. It was a decent pass. It was where it needed to be. But it was just a fraction too far in front of Josh Sargent there. Manchester United pressing on. Garnacho well worked into Højlund. Intercepted by Caleb Taylor there. Good defender. Max Weber tries to work it out to Josh Sargent. Gives the ball away though. And again we are on the back foot here. Jesse Cartwright this time does manage to win the ball. Chips it up towards Ismail Assar. There's James McAtee. Spreads it wide to Denzel Dumfries. Closed down quickly by the Manchester United defender, but he does really well to skip away from him. Waiting for Josh Sargent to arrive in the box here. Eventually he does, but it's too late. Josh Sargent hanging around on the edge of the box there. He has to be making a run into the 6-yard box in that situation. Barley Mumba intercepts. Can't find Ismail Assar up ahead of him. We have come a long way. We said it earlier in the game. We have come a long way in our 6 seasons here in Redmont. But we are still very much outmatched by the best teams in the country. We haven't really been able to get near Manchester United today, as Brendan Clark has gone down with an injury. He's still on the ground. Play does go on with Manchester United, but lunging challenge from Caleb Taylor wins the ball back. And he clears away to Brendan Clark on the right-hand side here. Not sure if Holly knows the nature of the injury.
Yes, it looked like Brendan Clark took a painful fall moments ago. He's moving awkwardly at the moment, and it looks as though he may have twisted his knee, but he's already gestured to the bench that he wants to continue.
So it does look like an injury that hopefully Brendan Clark is going to be able to run off. Shouldn't be too serious here. Josh Sargent can't quite find the ball. James McAtee trying to get back and win the ball back in midfield as well. He's putting a good shift today, James McAtee. He might have to come off shortly just for fresh legs. He has run himself ragged in midfield today. He's putting a good shift. Not been able really to create too much for those Redmont forwards ahead of him, but he's been diligent in his defensive duties today. Jesse Cartwright can't win the ball back. He's got to be stronger in the challenge than that. He's such a big, powerful defender. He has to be stronger in the challenge. Alexander Bobek just controlling the ball there. Get rid of it. Or pick it up. You could have picked it up there. Patrick Pfeiffer comes across, puts in a good challenge. Jesse Cartwright clears in the direction of Ismail Assar and is going to chase Onana all the way out of his goal. Did manage to find a Manchester United man with the pass though. Thought we could be in there for a moment. Weber can't win the ball back. Good challenge, Jesse Cartwright. Manchester United find the ball at their feet once more though. And Jesse Cartwright's going to have to do it all over again here. Can't stop the cross. Barley Mumba into Max Weber, who finds Ismail Assar. Josh Sargent can't release James McAtee. Again, we have players up. We had a quick counter-attack there. Couldn't make it happen. Great challenge, Jesse Cartwright. Just can't clear. Alexander Bobek clears away again in the direction of Ismail Assar. He manages to bring it down this time and just gives the ball away. It's got to be better than that. Alexander Bobek had found Ismail Assar with that release ball. But Manchester United could be in for a third here. What a save that is for Bobek. It could have been 4 today if it wasn't for Bobek. He's made a couple of good saves, and I think Josh Sargent is onside here. He is, but he can't quite bring the ball down under control. Manchester United get back. and steal it away once more. It's going to be a defeat here at Redmont Arena. How is the ball still at his feet? How is the ball still at his feet? We will bring Brandon Clark off here. Still not sure of the nature of that injury. Hopefully it's not one that lingers after the game, but he has had to go off here, so it could well be. Josh Keon for Denzel Dumfries here as well. And then Shevchuk on in midfield for James McAtee. Great feat from Max Webber. Skips away from the Manchester United defender. Does he have options inside? He just about does. Josh Sargent is one of them. Strikes with his left foot across goal. Parried away by Andre Onana. 2 minutes to go in the game. It's going to be another corner kick, which Ismail Assar will take. Alexander Bobek is in there. Dane Scarlett challenges for their header. Can't win it. Here's Shevchuk. Strikes towards goal. It's a bad one. It's a bad one. Goes harmlessly wide. And that is going to be the game. Seats in Redmont Arena empty in here, as Manchester United almost certainly will run out 2-0 winners rather. Shevchuk pressing high up the pitch. Sargent doing the same. It's 4 minutes of added time. We're already well into the first. And Manchester United actually could be in for a third. Jesse Cartwright comes across. And it is a third. Rasmus Højlund with the second of the game. Caught out high up the field there. Højlund in behind. Jesse Cartwright came across to try and deal with it, but Højlund too clinical. Bobek stays in his 6-yard box. Probably the right decision there. But too much pace on the strike to stand a chance of saving it. And it's actually going to be 3-0 Manchester United. Poor performance all in all. We've had one or two moments in the game, but really very little beyond that. It's a disappointing performance. I came into the game with high hopes. Feeling relatively confident based on the way that we've been playing so far this season. But the performance has not lived up to expectation. Dane Scarlett puts the ball in for Ismail Assar. Unable to find the ball after Max Webber's header there, though. And Redmont Arena almost empty now. Look at that corner of the ground. Everybody getting a head start on the traffic because their team is not able to come back into the game. We said there's basically no difference between 3-0 and 1-0. And 3-0 is the scoreline at the final whistle. I am glad we did step up into our standard and then even attacking game plan to give it a go. But we do end up conceding 2 more rather than gaining an equaliser, and it's our first loss in the Premier League. We just couldn't really match up with Manchester United today. 60% possession to our 40. Twice as many shots, almost twice as many passes. They were just the better side on the day. So that'll do it for today's episode of the Redmont Rangers Road to Glory here on EAFC 24. A point against Aston Villa and a win against Crystal Palace does give us 4 points from the episode, which is not a bad tally at all. It does leave us 13th place in the Premier League on 6 points. And we will try and bounce back and kick on in the next one with the games against Leicester City, Tottenham Hotspur and West Ham United to take on. So we'll look forward to that in the next episode. I hope to see you there. Take it easy.